Thank you. The Hawaii County Council is now reconvened. Folks, we're at 6:32 p.m. And I just want to apologize to the viewing audience watching this at home. We got the approval from the audience here in the chamber. However,
just say aye. Aye.
Yes and aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto?
Aye.
Chair Yagong?
Aye.
Chair Yagong, you have 8 ayes.
Thank you. Bill 326 passes. Madam Clerk, let's go to page 4 and take up 320.12.
Resolution 32012
yes,
authorizes an exemption for the state land use designation and a certain requirement of the County of Hawaii zoning code for 19 housing units to be utilized by Hope Services Hawaii Inc. as low-income senior housing. Hope Services Hawaii Inc. requests that the Council of the County of Hawaii exempt the property identified as tax count T315617 for the current state land use agricultural designation to allow the 19 housing units that are typically allowed within the state land use urban district. This resolution was introduced by Mr. Hoffman, led by the PC Committee.
Mr. Hoffman?
Move to approve resolution 320-12.
Second. Second by Mr. Pilago. Mr. Hoffman? We got
Mr. Chairman, is either Jeremy or
yes.
Brandy Menino in the audience?
Yes, they are. They are in the front row. They'll come forward at this time. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Hoffman.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I won't steal their thunder. They've waited patiently, I think, most of the day. I do ask my council members, colleagues, to please approve this so that we can make certain that we can get these 19 units into the area at Pahoa as quickly as possible and open them up as low-income housing. But I turn the floor, if I can, Mr. Chairman, very briefly, over to Brandy and Jeremy.
Okay, thank you. And you can be as brief as you want. And if there's any questions from the council members, oh no, don't take that in a negative way. You know, but if there's questions from the council members, we'd be happy to ask, open it up. Go ahead, Jeremy.
We ask for your approval. No, Jeremy McCumber with Hope Services Hawaii, and essentially the resolution authorizes us to reduce the required number of parking stalls for the project to 1 parking stall per unit, which we think is reasonable for a senior housing project. And it also allows the state land use designation to be consistent with the authorized zoning that would allow us to do residential units.
You want to say a few words?
Hi, Brandy Menino with Hope Services Hawaii. Also asking for your approval for this resolution. I think Jeremy covered everything. Thank you for your support.
Mr. Hoffman, you still have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't need to add anything to that. That was as succinct an explanation for any bill I've heard all day.
We only had 2 other bills, Mr. Hoffman. Thank you very much.
That's true, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Seeing no further discussion, thank you for bringing it forward. We're so happy that you're in charge of, you know, you're driving the ship on this area. It's going to be a wonderful thing for the community. Thank you. Madam Clerk, vote please.
Ms. Ford?
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman?
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda? Aye. Mr. Onishi?
Aye.
Mr. Pilago?
Aye.
Ms. Smart? Aye. Ms. Yoshimoto?
Aye.
Chair Yagong?
Aye.
Chair Yagong, you have 8 ayes.
Thank you. Resolution passes. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Madam Clerk, let's go to page, we're still on page 4. Let's take bills for ordinance, first reading, Bill 286, Draft 2.
Bill 286, Draft 2 amends Chapter 20, Article 3 of the Hawaii County Code 1983, 2005 edition as amended, relating to disposal of commercial cooking oil waste and commercial fats, oils, and greases. Proposes the following amendments to Chapter 20, Article 3 amends Section 2031 by amending the definition of prohibited materials and adds the definitions commercial cooking oil waste and commercial fog waste, and amends Section 2040 relating to explosives, radioactive waste, and other prohibited materials. This bill is introduced by Ms. Smart and approved by the EMC Committee. And Communication 800.3 from Environmental Management Acting Director Dora Beck, dated September 18, 2012, providing comment on Bill 286, Draft 2, and Communication 800.5 from Environmental Management Acting Director Dora Beck, dated October 8, 2012, transmitting a copy of their testimony submitted on September 18, 2012, Communication 800.3, and Communication 800.6 from Environmental Management Commission Chair Sherman Warner, dated October 29, 2012, providing comment on Bill 286.
Ms. Ford, Ms. Smart?
Well, there is already a motion on the floor, if
That
I
is
read
correct.
this correctly, so I'd like to draw the council's attention to Communication 800.7, and I move to amend Bill 286, Draft 2, with the contents of Communication number 800.7.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pelago. Go ahead on the amendment.
Okay, thank you. How to best go about this? These are amendments as suggested by the Environmental Management Commission in Communication 800.6. In Section 1, all they wanted to clarify is that we add the word commercial cooking oil waste in Section 1. So that's the first part of the amendment. In Section 2, we are trying to incorporate the changes that the Commission addressed. However, our wording is slightly different, and let me point out the wording. If you look at number 2 of the Commission's communication, they have 2 suggested languages for Section 3. We took the top one. However, we are eliminating the words legally permitted commercial recyclers because for the exact reason that Mr. Patrici and a lot of other testifiers came forward today regarding their household collection of the material. So our change, all it says is that shall apply only to the extent that there are recyclers who are willing. One of the big concerns going back and forth with the department and the prosecuting attorney, that if we were to do an earlier version of the bill, that we would prevent the do-it-yourselfers from being able to participate. However, I feel that the language as provided by the Corporation Council of the Environmental Management Commission, by putting in the legally permitted commercial recyclers, it would do exactly that and contradict one of the earlier concerns of the Department of Environmental Management. So I did get a chance to talk with all of the earlier testifiers. There was some confusion about what the bill's intent is. I'll talk about that later. But I just wanted to assure them, since he stayed, thank you very much, that this is the change as proposed in my amendment specifically encourages the do-it-yourselfers to continue as is.
Lovely. Are you done?
Yeah, and I already made the did I motion and seconded, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
So the motion is contained in Communication 800.7 is on the floor. Any discussion to that motion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, on the motion to amend.
Ms. Ford?
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman?
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda? Mr. Onishi?
Aye.
Mr. Pelago?
Aye.
Ms. Smart?
Aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto?
Aye.
Chair Yuhang?
Aye.
10 on, you have 3 ayes.
Thank you. Motion passes. We're at Bill 286, Draft 2 as amended. Any further discussion? Go ahead, Ms. Smart.
Okay, thank you very much. And I want to thank Mr. Reese for acknowledging that we have our first ever communication from the Environmental Management Commission. The commission before, while being in existence and able to advise the department, has never had a communication tool to talk to the council. And this council implemented that, and this is the first example of what those are going to be coming. So I'm really excited about that and thankful. I'm also very thankful for the discussion that the commission had. The department provided comments and reiterated their comments as provided in Communication 800.3 and 800.5. I have provided you a booklet. It's Communication 800.8. The first, we have it divided in different sections. The first section here goes point by point of my arguments to the department on some of the things they bring forward. I would be more than happy to discuss that. The second thing in here, you'll see it's tabulated. It says notice to haulers. one of the things that the commission asked for in their letter was that for a public hearing. I was there, as well as Jenna Long from Pacific Biodiesel, who was serving as basically an industry standpoint discussion. While we were there, they just wanted to make sure that the haulers knew that this was going through. At the meeting, they never claimed they wanted a public hearing, and I think that would be a little, I don't think it's necessary. We sent them all the letter as provided in this booklet. We provided them a copy of the bill, and on the back of this letter, you'll see the name of the pumping services that we contacted. We did get calls back from a number of them, I would say about half or so. All of them were supportive of this, and none of them felt it necessary to come today. So we did take the step that the commission called for to contact the haulers, and I just wanted to make sure that that was clear to the council members. Hopefully, I do believe this will come up a second time, so if the haulers have any questions between now and the next meeting, we will also send a reminder in case anything comes up. The next thing that's tabulated in this booklet is the communication between the department and myself, showing the progression of the bill. That's just to provide you background information, especially in light of some of the comments that DEM provided. I felt they were a little contradictory. We also have a picture of a map in West Hawaii. One of their concerns was that with the prohibition is that there would be no facilities in West Hawaii to collect the used cooking oil. My point with this map is the fact that the county actually put in infrastructure to have a cooking oil collection facility. If that is a true concern of the department, I would request them to put this facility out to bid. It's here on the map. It's outlined, and it shows it actually shows a proposed 1 acre biodiesel plant, as well as collection bays. So I hope if that's a true concern of the department, they would actually move forward in putting that out to bid so we can actually get this out. Lastly, there's a used cooking oil study that was done in 2004, of which actually I was a part of. And it was from that study that I actually became familiar with Pacific Biodiesel. This study was done through a grant by DBEDT, Department of Business, Economic Development and Tourism, and it was myself and the current staff worker Christian Chance back in 2004, when we were both student workers, had put this together. I would like to draw your attention to the section on page 2 at the bottom. Specifically, as part of this report, we have actions to promote biodiesel production, and on the next page it actually mentions doing council ordinances to make sure that we're supporting the industry. All this bill is doing to completely clarify any public misconceptions out there. All we want is to stop going into the landfill, flat out. We want to stop used cooking oil from commercial generation to stop going into the landfill. It is a resource. We have the capabilities to handle it on island. We wanted to do it earlier. However, to the extent of the cooking oil that we had, we did not have enough processing facilities to handle the waste. We do now. We do not want to stop the do-it-yourselfers. All we're asking with this bill is to stop putting it into the landfill. One final comment, and to the concerns of the public, the reason it is in the hazardous waste, etc. section is not claiming that it's hazardous waste. That's the prohibited materials section. That's just the title of the section. We're not trying to say the used cooking oil is hazardous. That's just the title of the area that the prohibition is under. That's all I have. I hope the council will continue supporting this. I'm available for questions, and I would encourage questions of the public or the industry representative as well.
Thank you. Ms. Ford, you have the floor.
Thank you. I will be supporting this bill. I think what this bill is doing, I don't know, am I?
You're on mic, you're good. You're good.
What this bill is doing is exactly what we have intended to do. Keep everything that is commercially generated, fogs and UCOs, for the cooking oil, the used cooking oils, out of the landfill. Now, there is a company on the east side that can take it, but we have all these independent, self-using individuals, so we've had a couple of them come up and testify today. And I think that this bill is going to encourage establishments, commercial establishments, from, not only will it stop them from taking it to the landfill, it's going to encourage them to call the recyclers, whether they're the big commercial guys or they're the small independent people who are converting this into diesel fuel for their own use at home. So I see this bill as going even a step beyond What I think the original intent was is to keep it out of the landfill, but to encourage commercial operations to start contacting the small guys who maybe live locally and can recycle it and use it, you know, as a sustainable resource on their own property. So I think we're gonna hit two things at once. And I don't think that this is directing this towards any particular company. If we have a guy that wants to open up his own company, that's great. The self-using recyclers are going to be good, and I support the idea that the county use that land at the West Hawaii Sanitary Landfill as it was designed to be used. And if they really have that concern, I concur with Ms. Smart. Get an RFP out and let somebody put it in there and do another commercial thing on this side of the island. Meanwhile, the guys who need to do it at home, they got it. They're gonna get some help getting some more contracts. Thanks.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Just one fast one.
Okay, go ahead, Mr.
I just got, I guess, worried, or I just got, I guess, alarmed where this Miss Hall, this is Jean Hall from Bohol, mentioned, and she testified about this bill, about like, I guess maybe a council member might be in conflict, but I'm hoping not, and if, you know, I just hope it's not. Thank you.
Thank
Is
you.
that me that you're talking
I
about?
don't know, she just mentioned that.
Well, can I respond to?
Sure.
If that's me you're responding to, like I mentioned, my relationship with Pacific Biodiesel first started when I was assigned the task of developing this used cooking oil study. Since they were the front of the industry internationally, they were the likely contact person. They helped provide information to develop the county's biodiesel pamphlet and this study. And I've been working with them in terms of how their industry is developing since then. But that's the extent of the relationship. No, if that's the concern, I will clarify that.
Any further discussion? Then I'd just like to make a couple comments. First of all, thank you to Pacific Biodiesel for being here on the Big Island. This is fantastic. Folks, you know, it is a hazardous material when people were actually collecting this stuff and throwing it down lava tubes.
Yes.
That was horrible. Let alone now, you know, where the common practice is to take it to the landfill. To not utilize a resource like this is actually criminal on our part. So I'm so glad that we have the industry here, and I'm glad that people have already been using that technology. And with all the money I spent on gas, man, I tell you, I should have been doing it as well. But so I think it's wonderful, and I think Ms. Smart, you clarified a lot of issues, and I really appreciate the work that you've done with this along with the, thank you very much. Just a wonderful, wonderful bill. Thank you. See no further discussion, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Ford?
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman?
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda?
Aye.
Mr. Onishi?
Kanalua, please.
Mr. Pilago?
Aye.
Ms. Smart?
Aye.
Ms. Yoshimoto? Chair Yagong?
Aye.
Chair Yagong, you have 8 ayes.
Okay, Bill 286 passes first reading. I've got Bill 312, and then Mr. Onishi had one more.
Resolution 316 and 317.
Wait, what page is that?
That'll be, I think, on page 5.
5, okay. All right, so let's go to, first of all, let's go to Bill 312. That should be really quick as well. Bill 312, Madam Clerk.
Bill 312 amends Chapter 21, Article 5 of the Hawaii County Code 1983, 2005 edition is relating to sewer connection loan program. Amends Section 2140 loan application subsection A as follows. Any application for a guaranteed loan must be submitted to a designated bank no more than 120 calendar days after the date of notification by the director requiring the owner to connect to the sewer. Amend Section 2145 reserve fund subsection B as follows. In the event grant monies are available to finance sewer connection costs, the sewer connection reserve fund may be used to finance connection costs for those lot owners eligible for grant funding, and only to the extent that the sewer connection reserve fund can be reimbursed from the grant. This bill is introduced by Mr. Yagong and waived by the Finance Committee, and Communication 861.1 from Environmental Management Acting Director Dora Beck, dated October 25, 2012, providing comment on Bill 312, and Communication 861.2 from Environmental Management Commission Chair Sherman Warner, dated October 29, 2012, providing comment on Bill 312.
Mr. Pilago?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Motion to approve Bill 312 and to file its related communication.
Second.
Second by Ms. Smart. Any discussion on Bill 312? Sorry, 312. Let me just say real quickly, thank you to Ms. Beck and also the Environmental Mgmt Commission Chair Sherman Warner. They do support this bill, and I appreciate their positive comments on it. Seeing no further discussion, go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Ford.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman.
Aye.
Mr. Iketo.
Aye.
Mr. Onishi.
Aye.
Mr. Pilago.
Aye.
Ms. Smart.
Aye.
Ms. Yoshimoto.
Aye.
Chair Yagong.
Aye.
You don't have 8 ayes.
Thank you. Bill 312 passes first reading. I'm sorry, second and final reading. Let's go to Mr. Onishi. That was 316. Oh, that was first reading. I'm sorry. Okay. Bill 316. That's on page 5. Okay, 1 second. Yeah. 316. Is that? That's not on page 5. Page 3. Madam Clerk, let's go to 316 on page 3, please.
Resolution 316-12 accepts the dedication of a portion of rights-of-way lots 15A2, 16, 17, 18, 20, and 21, being tax map keys 381, 363, lot 15A2, 381, 470 portion, lot 16 and 17, and 381, 761 lots 19, 20, and 21, situated at Halaki'i, Ke'eke 1 and 2, Ilikahi, Kanakau 1 and 2, Kalu 1 through 3, Wanobli 1 and 2, and Keopuka, District of South Kona Island, County and State of Hawaii, from 1250 Oceanside Partners, a Hawaii Limited Partnership. The Department of Public Works is currently working on the design and schedule of work for the construction of the Mamalahoa bypass road for road and drainage purposes, which will provide the necessary rights-of-ways to the south segment of the bypass. The rights-of-ways lots have been approved by the Department of Public Works and received dedication approval from the Departments of Water Supply, Planning, and Environmental Management. This resolution was introduced by Mr. Blas and waived by the PWP.
Vice Chair Pilago.
Motion to approve resolution 316-12.
Second.
Second by Ms. Ford. Discussion. Ms. Ford.
Thank you. I've asked Mr. Kamelamela to come in, and you'll notice that the map on this thing, this is for the Mamalahoa bypass to the hopefully a subdivision. And frankly, you can't look at this map and tell what's going on. So, Mr. Kamelamela, would you give us a real brief explanation of what's happening and show the pretty pictures?
What I did, I actually brought a bigger map, and then I kind of colorized it. And actually, what I can do is, with the permission of the chair, just step forward so that you can see the south segment. Okay, so I'm going to do that.
Doesn't matter.
I'll start from the left and I'll go this way. So it's colored out. There is one parcel that is not colored, and that's parcel number 18. That's the Coupe property, but we have the order of possession on that already. You know, we went to trial and appeals, and the U.S. Supreme Court had denied the writ of cert. Okay, so I'm gonna walk around.
If you need a microphone, we do have a card that's back for you.
Yeah.
Just go ahead. Oh. Madam Clerk.
So
Let's get
Hold on, let's give him a mic.
Your voice is loud enough.
Staff,
We can hear you.
can you hold up one side of that thing so that Joe can talk?
yeah, so what we have is the south segment of the properties owned by 1250 Oceanside that they're transferring the interest from. And what we are doing is kind of looking, this is north to south. So from Halaki Street, we have the different parcels that's colored actually. And then it ends up right next to the Smith property here. So what you see colored are the properties owned by 1250. That's one of the right of inset is
Of parcels 20 and 21.
Yellow is the whole area of homes, if it's 1250 in other words, that's what orange is what?
The yellow and pinks are,
Both.
it's just, I just wanted to show, you know, the different parcels.
Okay, that's, thank you.
Okay. So what I wanted to do is map, in case anybody's, I'm stopping now, like, okay. I don't know about this one. Yeah, so let me go to the end.
hold it up for the camera so that Mr. Hoffman can see it. So
Oh,
that-
okay.
Just so that it's on the record that he was able to see it.
Okay, wait, did you see it already?
Yes.
Okay, where is the camera?
Just right there at the table, just turn around
Oh.
completely. No, no,
Right here, fine. Here, right there.
Yeah, come back to it, yeah.
Don't move, Joe, I can see you.
Okay.
Oh, I'll get that there.
You can see, he's eating, but at least it's on record.
Can you see it?
Go ahead, Joe.
Okay, so what you see at, so I'm going to point to Haliki Street, the north segment first, okay? And we have the different parcels that color, and the last parcel is parcel 21 on the south end.
Okay, Joe, without turning around, you don't have to look at it.
Fine.
The one on the south end, does that parcel actually go into or abut the Mamalahoa Junction intersection?
No. It's right next to one of the Smith properties.
I got it, okay, thank you.
And
Okay.
any other questions?
Any other question?
Kupin property is the property that's not colored, so I'm gonna point to it. That's parcel 18.
And you are working on that legislation for that one separately from here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that bigger map, much clearer than what we had on the folder here.
Thank you for waiting.
Any further discussion regarding 316-12? Thank you, Dee, for your assistance. No further discussion? Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Ford?
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman?
Aye.
Mr. Kona?
Aye.
Mr. Onishi?
Aye.
Mr. Pilago?
Aye.
Ms. Smart?
Aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto?
Aye.
Chair Yagong?
Aye.
Chair Yagong, you have 8 ayes.
Thank you. Resolution 316-12 passes. Let's go to that resolution 317-12. Go ahead.
Resolution 317-12 accepts the dedication of road lots 10A, 1B, and 3A2 being tax map keys 38135-4 portion lot 10A, 38135-1 portion lot 1B, and 38136-1 portion lot 3A2. Situated at Haliki and KK1 District of South Kona Island County and State of Hawaii from 1250 Oceanside Partners Hawaii Limited Partnership. 1250 Oceanside is desirous of dedicating the roadway lots for road and drainage purposes. The roadway lots have been inspected and approved by the Department of Public Works and received dedication approval from the Departments of Planning and Environmental Management. This resolution has been introduced by Mr. Gloss and by the PWPRC committee.
Motion to approve resolution 317-12.
Second.
Second by Ms. Ford. Any discussion on 317-12?
Yes.
Go ahead.
As you can see from the map here, is the Makai section, Haliki Street as a Johoa bypass road. It's not
control of the area, and we continue all the other
Discussion. Go to page 3, resolution 312.12.
there's a lot of concerns at we also went
Sure, go ahead.
And thank you. And that did come, that was actually the main focus of the Water Commission meeting, and I did express concerns of, again, I'm very supportive of the department and thankful that they are responding so quickly. I would just be concerned if they move forward with new procedures prior to completion of the report. I understand the need to move quickly, so I don't know whether ever would caution moving forward drug changes prior. Bill, this is Chapter 25 Zoning Code of the Hawaii County Code in 2005 edition is amended relating to agricultural turf. Mayor William Kinoy, dated May 2012, transmitted the following enclosures with a favorable recommendation from Windward Planning Commissioner Zendo Kern and Windward Planning Commission Chair D. Giffen. The amendment relates to agricultural turf. Article 1 that the Amendments are 276 relating to action plan and amendments on vision. Hoping there
One of the testifiers, if I remember correctly, clearly, the bill that we have before us is to act as a model for other counties in this state in which to move in. It's not the absolute 100% bill that does every I or cross every T, but it is a darn good start, and it makes up for a number of different things that haven't been addressed in a number of years. I would ask our council colleagues, please, let's pass this bill. Let's move ahead with the clear understanding that future councils can take a look at this bill and how to apply it. And make certain that if we have made some errors or haven't covered the individual item that we come this forward now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hoffman. Actually, there is one amendment to this, so I'm sorry, we just saw this prior. But go ahead, Ms. Ward, please make the amendment.
Thank you. I move to amend Bill number 266, draft 4, with the contents of communication 745.28.
Need a second?
Second.
Second by Mark. Go ahead, Ms. Ford.
Thank you. At the last session, we discussed, first of all, let me say for the public's benefit, I already brought forward an amendment with a daily maximum of visitors for both the major and the minor, and it failed. Mr. Ika was one of the people who supported a weekly maximum. And so got hold of the bill, the draft, that we had a maximum for the minors, minor agricultural tourism of 350 visitors per week, not to exceed 15,000 per year, and we had not put in the number of visitors per week on a major agricultural tourism. So this amendment allows 700 visitors per week, not to exceed 30,000 visitors annually. I took it to heart what Mr. Ikeda had said, that it's not really possible on a daily basis to control it. On a weekly basis, though, it would be better. So, again, in the spirit of compromise, I'm bringing forward this amendment. So please support this. And let's get this one last thing, I hope it's the one last thing, fixed.
Okay. Any discussion on the amendment as proposed by Ms. Ford? See none, Madam Clerk?
Ms. Ford.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman.
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda.
Aye.
Mr. Onishi.
Aye.
Mr. Pilago.
Aye.
Ms. Smart.
Aye.
Yoshimoto.
Aye.
Chair Yagong.
Aye.
Chair Yagong, you have 8 ayes.
Thank you. Motion passes. We're at the main motion as amended.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Since Ms. Ford's amendment was not, I think, a significant change in any aspects of the bill, but simply put in something for completeness, can we have your ruling that there's not a significant change and we don't have to suspend rules?
I think we put the clerk, but we did not change. If the change, it would be a significant change. Okay. Then maybe just to be cautious, I would accept the motion to suspend the rules.
So moved.
So moved.
Okay, so moved by Ms. Ford, seconded by Ms. Smart. Any discussion on the motion to suspend the rules? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Ms. Ford.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman.
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda. Mr. Onishi.
Aye.
Mr. Pilago.
Aye.
Ms. Smart.
Aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto.
Aye.
Chair Yagong.
Aye.
Chair Yagong, you have 8 ayes.
Okay, so we're at the main motion as amended. So if we pass this, it'll be the final reading, so we don't have to have Mr. Medina come back one more time. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Thank you for the privilege of speaking. I've been doing a lot of work with
Very important on every week a new route, and get, and that's from to the neighbors, a Halloween party, a Thanksgiving party, a Christmas, party type thing. These are very serious issues, but because we've been working on this for so long, I happen to agree with Mr. Hoffman that maybe we should just pass this one, and then if we've got more things to change, let's let the new council deal with it. That's just a suggestion on my part for supporting this going forward and getting past.
Mr. Onishi, you have the floor.
Sure. Yeah. No, listening to Safari say he had a and for Corey Hardin to not support, that's really kind of shocks me. So she, has good comments and she has good ideas. So to me, I don't know why we're rushing it. I mean, we have more meeting to do some more amendments to it. So I would say let's postpone some of the amendments that they had suggested, and maybe Ms. Ford can do that for us, and we can go to the last one, which is the 20th or something. That would be the last meeting, and pass it at that time. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Go ahead.
I'm not sure if that was a proposal to postpone, a motion to postpone.
I'll second.
Okay. I'm willing to do that. There's a few more things that I could certainly do, as amendments. What I don't want to get into is we do amendments, or the amendments, and then it all falls apart at the end. I know we can bifurcate, so don't agree with them, that'll be fine. I am willing to do that. Thank you.
I see no lights, and I just want to tell the council members, I think, remember we went to a public hearing with this particular bill as well. We've really done a lot of work with this, and it's not a perfect bill, and never will be a perfect bill because we've never done this before. And I think we're going to learn from the processes as we move forward. And yes, I believe the new council will be able to address it if it did miss it. I would really prefer that we vote on this today and let give the community an opportunity to have something in hand that they can look at as an actual ordinance. So let's pass this today. That would be my recommendation.
Mr. Chair, can I make a comment? Okay, like you're saying, but the public has something in front of them. They have, draft form, and they still looking at, like just earlier you folks mentioned about the Popeye Call, and you folks said that, not to let the next council do it because then they would have to go through the whole process. Because they would be new, they wouldn't understand, they would have to get educated, and so this would be the same thing. So I'm thinking that I'll make a motion to postpone to the next council meeting.
Okay. Moved by Mr. Onishi. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Moved by Mr. Onishi, seconded by Mr. Yoshimoto. Any discussion on the motion to postpone?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Hoffman.
I don't need to repeat what I just said before. We can continue to postpone and try to dot every I and cross every T. We're not going to be successful in each and every effort. Of course there are changes that could be made in any piece of legislation, but this has not been a rush bill. This has taken 2.5 years to get where we are now, and as you can determine by the agenda itself, we've had many different discussions in council. We've had a host of amendments that Ms. Ford has brought forward. We have had a public hearing and so forth. I see no further need to postpone to consider even further amendments at this time. Let's pass this. Thank you.
I need to support the postponement, and I believe Ms. will be able to get draft 5 ready for us for the next meeting. Thank you.
Real quick, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Yoshimoto.
We've come this far. 2 more weeks. We can do it. Thank you.
Wait a minute, it's always me that's going to do it. That would be easy for you guys to say.
See no further lights. The motion on the floor is to postpone. I'll be voting against the postponement as Mr. Hoffman stated as well. Good, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Ford.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman.
No.
Mr. Ikeda.
Aye.
Mr. Onishi.
Aye.
Mr. Kalago.
No.
Ms. Smart.
Aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto.
Aye.
Chair Yagong.
No.
Chair Yagong, you have 5 ayes.
Okay, so
Thanks a heap, guys.
So Bill 2, Bill 266 is postponed to the next council meeting, that's on the 21st. And we should be seeing possible amendments coming forward by Ms. Ford. Okay, any other suggestion, folks, as far as items out of order, or can we just start from the top? Okay, let's just start from the top, Madam Clerk. Let's go to page 2, communication 897.
Communication 897, State Bill authorizing county liquor commissions to provide funding for alcohol abuse treatment and prevention. From Chairperson Dominic Yagong, dated October 26, 2012, transmitting a letter from Hawaii State Association of Counties President Mel Raposa, dated October 15, 2012. Mr. Raposa is requesting comments from the counties regarding the above bill and states that Maui County Council is considering this measure for its 2013 legislative package. This communication was waived from the GRC committee.
Vice Chair Palago.
Thank you, Chair. Motion to approve, motion to accept discussion on communication 897 and to file such communications.
I need a second by Ms. Yoshimoto. Discussion, Mr. Palago?
None. Well, okay, very briefly, this came over from the president of ESAC Executive Committee requesting Chairperson Yagong to place this on this agenda to see if this council would have any comments in regards to including this in the ESAC legislative package, and we do support it, by the way, but this is, communication is for courtesy to this council. Thank you.
And just to let you know, Mr. Takashi was here earlier, and I told him that, you know, he could go, but Mr. Takashi expressed no concerns in regards to the request by Mr. Raposa. He did mention that the account itself that they're asking for money for this doesn't have a heck of a lot of money, but it would help, but he has no objections because it does provide for funding for alcohol abuse treatment. So I just want to share his thoughts, the thoughts that he shared with me. Okay, the motion on the floor is to close file. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Ford.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman.
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda. Mr. Onishi. Mr. Palago.
Aye.
Ms. Smart.
Aye.
Ms. Yoshimoto.
Aye.
Chair Yagong.
Aye.
Chair Yagong, you have 8 ayes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Let's go communication 902, please.
Communication 902, process regarding the submittal and receipt of video testimony for committee and council meetings from Deputy County Clerk Steve Covino Lopez, dated October 31, 2012, stating that the council approved a change to Rule 13 to permit public testimony by video and submits a proposed procedure to facilitate the submittal of video testimony to be implemented for the upcoming meeting schedule of November 8 and 9.
Vice Chair Palago.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Motion to close file, communication 902.
Second.
And there's a second discussion. Is Kavita still here?
No.
Okay. Discussion. Go ahead, Ms. Ford.
I hope somebody can answer this question. Frankly, I got confused by one of the public testifiers today saying that we were going to have our staff go into a public site and look at something and bring it back and store it. That isn't what we do. The public, if they want us to see a video thing, has to submit the video directly to us via a DVD or something, or an email, or somehow we're going to get it. We're not going to have to search public sites and, you know, I think they mentioned the word young or something, and there would be 50,000 things. So if anybody has information different than what my understanding is, please enlighten me.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Enlighten me.
Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Ford.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman.
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda.
Aye.
Mr. Onishi.
Aye.
Mr. Palago.
Aye.
Ms. Smart.
Aye.
Ms. Yoshimoto.
Aye.
Chair Yagong.
Aye.
Chair Yagong, 8 ayes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Let's go to page 3, resolution 313-12.
Resolution 313-12 relates council action on upzoning of the Pahoa Village Regional Town Center planning area until phase 1 of the Pahoa Regional Town Center plan is adopted by ordinance, or until June 30, 2013, whichever shall occur first. The Pahoa Regional Town Center Plan Steering Committee and the Puna Community Development Plan Action Committee requested that any new upzoning in this area be delayed to allow the community through a legitimate, deliberate, and inclusive community-based planning process to define how best to solve existing problems, to allocate space for new growth, and to preserve its historical heritage. This resolution was introduced by Mr. Bloss and approved by the Planning Committee.
Motion to approve resolution 313-12.
Second.
Second by Ms. Ford. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Mr. Yoshimoto.
Mr. Bloss is not here, and I'm kind of inclined to postpone this for him because I'd actually like him here so he can weigh in. So after the discussions, then I'll make a motion to postpone on his behalf.
I agree with you, Mr. Yoshimoto. Any further discussion? Go ahead.
Just a quick question, because Mr. Bloss is excused for a family emergency on the mainland. Does anybody know when he's possibly going to return?
No. I spoke to Mr. Bloss on the break, and his brother did pass away, so I'm sure they're still working on the arrangement, so I can't tell when he'll be back. So I would probably say maybe the motion, if you guys are okay with postponing, postpone to the call of the chair, and we'll work it around Mr. Bloss.
I know he's supported this, and he wanted this to go through.
Are you on mic?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Mr. Chairman?
1 second, Ms. Hoffman. Mr. Onishi has the floor. Go ahead.
yeah, I know he supported this, and he wanted this to be passed. So I don't think we need him to be here. And plus, it's just a resolution.
Mr. Hoffman, you
You
want?
voted yes on the last one.
Ms. Hoffman?
Yes, I seem to remember the same thing. This came up in committee, and Mr. Blossom there, we held it over in committee, I think, one session, so that Mr. Bloss could attend. He certainly supported it at that time. I don't see the need to hold it over. I think he certainly clearly supports it, as his vote in the committee will indicate.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Plum? No. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Shimura.
My recollection was there was some public testimony against it, and I don't recall that previous to today. So I could be wrong, but I thought people were in favor of it before, and then I heard some testimony that was against it. So if the council's comfortable moving it forward, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that whatever concerns that were raised and have been addressed. But if I'm mistaken, then we can move forward.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Smart.
Thank you. I have some concerns and questions of Mr. Bloss. Again, I apologize for missing the last meeting when this came up. I would prefer it to be postponed. Otherwise, if that fails, I would like the floor again to air my concerns. Thank you.
Okay, does anyone want to make a motion to
Oh, I
postpone?
thought we did have that.
No, there was not a motion to postpone. Mr. Yoshimura?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Pelago. The motion on the floor is to postpone until to the call of the chair, so we can coordinate with Mr. Bloss upon his return from the mainland. Any discussion on the motion to postpone? See none, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Ford?
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman?
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda? Mr. Onishi?
Aye.
Mr. Pilago?
Aye.
Ms. Smart?
Aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto?
Aye.
Chair Yagong?
Aye.
Yagong, you have 8 ayes.
Thank you. Item is postponed. Okay, let's go to page 5, Bill 309, please.
Bill 309 amends ordinance number 264, which amended section 25.8 North Kona Zone Map, Article 8, Chapter 25 Zoning Code of the Hawaii County Code by changing the district classification from agriculture of 5 acres, A5A, to single-family residential 20,000 square feet, RS20, at Kanalua, 4th North Kona, Hawaii, covered by tax map P 73530. Request time extension to condition D. Final subdivision approval, applicant Ellen Koizumi, area 3.13 acres. From Mayor William P. Kanoy, dated September 5, 2012, translated the above bill and enclosures with a favorable recommendation from Leeward Planning Commission Chair Pro Tem Thomas Hickox. The applicant requests a 5-year extension of time, citing market conditions. This bill was introduced by Mr. Hoffman and approved by the Planning Commission.
Mr. Hoffman.
Move to approve Bill 309.
Second.
Second by Ms. Smart. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Ford?
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman?
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda? Mr. Onishi?
Excused.
Mr. Pilago?
Aye.
Ms. Smart?
Aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto?
Aye.
Chair Yagong?
Aye.
Yagong, you have 7 ayes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Let's go to Bill 311, please. Page
Bill
5.
Bill 311 amends Chapter 24, Article 10, Division 6, Section 24287 of the Hawaii County Code 1983, 2005 edition is amended relating to loading zones. Amends Chapter 24, Article 10, Division 6, Section 24287, Schedule 35, Passenger Loading Zones, subsection C, Sao Kilo, by deleting an existing item renumbered as required. The amendment converts the infrequently used passenger loading zone to parking. This bill was introduced by Mr. Bloss and approved by the PWPRC Committee.
Motion to approve Bill 311.
Second.
Second by Ms. Smart. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Ford?
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman?
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda?
Aye.
Mr. Pilago?
Aye.
Ms. Smart?
Aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto?
Aye.
Chair Yagong?
Aye.
Chair Yagong, you have 7 ayes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Let's go to page 6, Bill 314, please.
Bill 314 amends ordinance number 1287 as amended relating to public improvements and financing thereof for the fiscal year July 1, 2012 to June 30, 2013. Adds Department of Public Works, Kona, Hawaii parking lot, $450,000. Funds shall be provided from general obligation bonds, capital projects fund, fund balance, and or other sources, $450,000. Funds will be used for the planning and design, engineering, infrastructure improvements, and construction to increase parking lot capacity in the downtown area. This bill was introduced by Mr. Ikeda and approved by the Finance Committee.
Mr. Ikeda?
Move to approve Bill 314. Second.
Second by Ms. Ford. Discussion. Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Ms. Ford.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman.
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda.
Aye.
Mr. Pilago.
Aye.
Ms. Smart.
Aye.
Ms. Yoshimoto.
Aye.
Chair Yagong.
Aye.
Chair Yagong, you have 7 ayes.
Thank you. Bill 314 passes that first reading. Let's go to Bill 315.
Bill 315 amends Chapter 24, Article 10, Division 4 of the Hawaii County Code 1983, 2005 edition is amended relating to crosswalks. Amends Chapter 24, Article 10, Division 4, Section 24276, Schedule 24 crosswalks, subsection G, Puna, by adding a new item and renumbered as required. Kalapana, Kapoho Beach Road, 115 feet northeast of the property line between parcels 1426 and 14226. Amendment provides a crosswalk adjacent to the Kua'okala Public Charter School. This bill is introduced by Mr. Bloss and approved by the PWPRC Committee.
Motion to approve Bill 315.
Second.
Second by Ms. Ford. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Ms. Ford.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman.
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda.
Aye.
Mr. Pilago.
Aye.
Ms. Smart.
Aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto.
Aye.
Chair Yagong.
Aye.
Chair Yagong, you have 7 ayes.
Thank you. Bill 315 passes first reading. Let's go to page 7, Bill 323.
Bill 323 amends ordinance number 1287 as amended relating to public improvements and financing thereof for the fiscal year July 1, 2012 to June 30, 2013. Adds Department of Public Works, Ka'u Water Source and Storage Expansion Project, $10,640,000. Funds shall be provided from general obligation bonds, capital projects fund, fund balance, and or other sources grants. $10,640,000. Funds will be used for water infrastructure improvements, which will add a new well source, expand water storage, and replace buried water lines where appropriate. This bill is introduced by Ms. Smart and waived by the Finance Committee.
Ms. Smart.
Move to approve Bill 323.
Second.
Second by Ms. Yoshimoto. Discussion? Go ahead, Ms. Smart.
Thank you. This is another one of those Air National Guard projects that I'm putting forward on the CIP. This project is actually coming out of the Department of Water Supply plan itself for Ka'u. It's trying to do a couple of things. Right now we have a meter moratorium. This allows for a drilling of another well if needed, and the main point of this one is to expand all storage facilities in order to deliver water to Ka'u. Again, it's unlikely this project will go forward without the Air National Guard project, but we do need to get it on the project list. Thank you.
Further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Ms. Ford.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman.
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda.
Aye.
Mr. Pilago.
Aye.
Ms. Smart.
Aye.
Ms. Yoshimoto.
Aye.
Chair Yagong.
Aye.
Chair Yagong, you have 7 ayes.
Thank you. Bill 323 passes first reading. Let's go to Bill 324.
Bill 324 amends ordinance number 1287 as amended relating to public improvements and financing thereof for the fiscal year July 1, 2012 to June 30, 2013. Adds Department of Public Works, South Point Road Water Infrastructure Expansion Project, $9,900,000. Funds shall be provided from general obligation bonds, capital projects fund, fund balance, and or other sources grants. $9,900,000. Funds will be used for water infrastructure improvements to replace and realign existing water line above Highway 11, add a new well source, expand water storage, and bring a new 6-inch buried ductile pipe, water line, and fire hydrants to the area below Highway 11. This bill was introduced by Ms. Smart and waived by the Finance Committee.
Thank you. This requires a 2/3 vote. Go ahead, Ms. Smart.
Move to approve Bill 324. Second.
Second by Ms. Ford. Any discussion? Go ahead.
This is another Air National Guard program project. Again, unlikely to go through without the Air National Guard project being accepted. Again, we need to get it on the project list. What this one is doing is fixing the water line between the water source and the storage tank, and then we're fixing the South Point water line, and we're hoping to bring some water down to DHHL lands. We're hoping to get some partnership with DHHL to help offset some of the costs. We also want to do a redundancy connection across Kama'oa Road in order to help alleviate the water draw on the Waiohinu water facility by the Discovery Harbor Community Association lots. Then we could offset that draw by this South Point. So this would be able to bring water to the ranchers down there where it's bone dry, and being able to fix pipes that are currently existing that are leaking like a sieve. Thank you.
Any discussion? Further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Ms. Ford.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman.
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda?
Aye.
Mr. Kalago?
Aye.
Ms. Mark?
Aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto?
Aye.
Chair Yuan?
Aye.
Mr. Gahn, 7 ayes.
Thank you. Bill passes first reading. Let's go to Bill 325, please.
Bill 325 authorizes issuance of general obligation bonds to the County of Hawaii for the purpose of funding all or a portion of the cost of various public improvement projects, fixing the form, denominations, and certain other details of such bonds, and providing for their sale to the public, and authorizing the taking of other actions related to the issuance and sale of the bonds. Authorizes for issuance and sale in one or more series bonds of the county in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $5,100,000 for the purpose of funding all or a portion of the cost, including cost of issuance of the bonds, of public improvement projects, transfer station retainer wall projects, $5 million, and bond issuance costs $100,000 for a total of $5,100,000 disposed and introduced by Ms. Mark and waived by the Finance Committee.
Ms. Lord.
Move to approve Bill 325.
Second.
Second by Ms. Lord. Discussion?
Yes, please. Thank you. This came about in discussions with the Department of Environmental Management about the Air National Guard program. However, this is not going to be part of the Air National Guard program. In the discussions about revamping the transfer stations through the Air National Guard, in talking with Mr. Greg Goodale, there is serious concerns of the transfer station walls collapsing, and they are unlikely to last 2 years. We did estimate about $1 million per transfer station. There's 5 of them that we need to do, and that's Pahala, Waiohinu, Volcano, Glenwood, and Papako, I believe, are the 5 in very dire need of repair. It's a public safety issue. The reason we did $1 million is in some cases the revamping of the transfer stations, the long-term plans to expand it for increased recycling and whatnot, may require a new design and location of the chute, which would require more than just fixing the retaining wall. They may have to resituate where the chute is. I made Greg promise me about 10 times, if we put this bond forward and approve it, that they will take the future design and use of the facilities into account, so we're not spending $1 million to make a new wall, rip it down, and redesign the whole facility. The intent is to fix the immediate public health and safety concerns while also taking into consideration the future plans for each of those 5 facilities I named. We really need to fix this, folks. We don't want anyone getting hurt. We already had Pahoa wall collapse. We don't need any more.
Mr. Gibb?
Yes, I have an amendment, and I'd like to make an amendment.
Okay, go ahead.
I'd like to amend Bill 325 with the contents of Communication 884.1.
Second. 884.1. Okay, there's a second by Mr. Yoshimoto.
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Ikeda.
Department of Parks and Recreation requested us if we could put in some things they really need. They have a hazardous waste material abatement and mitigation, and they also have an ADA compliance. So we increased the bond from 80 to 10.440. That's it.
Okay. Discussion.
Yes, please.
Do you want to say something?
No, I was waiting for the main bill.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm disappointed in this. This is the second time we've had a bond float. I don't know why it's so difficult for council members to put their own projects forward on their own bond floats, on their own merits. This is a public health and safety. I see no problem with a bond float for these others, but it's not even related to the transfer stations. This is ridiculous. I would say vote it down and we can have a bill on these merits on their own.
Further discussion?
Yes, I like to. It's a good.
Okay, go ahead.
All of these are, it's all wish list, no matter where you put it. There's no guarantee it's going to be done. This is what the department had asked us for. We're just abiding by their wishes. I'm very surprised that you're against it because I remember putting some things for you and you're against it also. So I don't know who you represent, but I think we represent all the people from all over the island. And there's nothing really wrong with approving this because, like I always stated, it's another tool for the mayor. It's no guarantee that any of these projects could be done. Thank you.
This is not a wish list capital approval. This is actually issuance of bonds. So this is, setting up a mechanism to actually go out and borrow money. So
no, but it's true. It's kind of a wish list because the mayor doesn't have to float the bonds.
Mr. Hoffman, did you want to discuss this on the amendment?
No, I can't agree with this amendment. I think it's much clearer, as Ms. Smart points out. You put it in separately. This, again, is an authorizing the issuance and sale of the bonds, not simply adding to the wish list. I don't see why Mr. Ikeda would not come up with his own amendment or his own bill if this is so important to add to the wish list. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Go ahead, Ms. Ford.
I'm absolutely forced to agree with Ms. Smart and Mr. Hoffman. Is the way we put things on the CIP projects, the capital improvement project budget, is not by authorizing the bond before we put it on the budget. And so I'm very concerned about this method of trying to get things done and violate our protocol. So I don't support this. I happen to have had a talk with Dora Beck about these transfer station walls. I agree with this. I concur that what Ms. Smart was heard from Ms. Beck and Mr. Liddell is the same thing that I heard. And the problem with Pahoa, since Ms. Smart brought it up, is the transfer wall actually collapsed. It now became an emergency, and we wound up spending, I think, almost $3 million or $6 million, some multi-millions of dollars to put in the new Pahoa transfer station, which was actually farther down on the list of things to do. If we don't fix these walls and they collapse, we're going to have a multi-million dollar emergency at that particular location and force the public to use other transfer stations while we rebuild and do whatever we're supposed to do for the long run. We can't afford to do that. I'm very pro getting public health safety issues on the bond issuance and get them done. But I think on other things that are not what I would consider an emergency, I'm a little reluctant to do that right now in this fiscal climate. So I will not be supporting this amendment. Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? Go ahead, Ms. Smart.
One final clarification, the transfer station retaining wall repairs are on the CIP as far as I know. I'm not sure where the other projects are. To verify, the transfer station retainer walls are one of the highest priorities on the list of DEM, and it's a public health and safety. Someone's going to get hurt.
Thank you. It does kind of amaze me that we don't have, I mean, we're looking at a bond issuance with this amendment up to $10 million. And I don't see that, I know you talk to you folks here, but I don't see them here coming forward, the administration actually coming to the council and being adamant about supporting these things due to safety measures. So, you take this $10 million with this amendment and the $30 million that was approved in the last issuance, we're up to $40 million, guys, that we've done in the last month of the council, the county council, and I'm very concerned about that, folks. So, anyway, I'm very reluctant to support this at this time. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, this is on the amendment.
Ms. Ford?
No.
Mr. Hoffman?
No.
Mr. Ikeda?
Aye.
Mr. Hilago?
No.
Ms. Smart?
No.
Mr. Yoshimoto?
Aye.
Chair Yagong?
No.
Chair Yagong, you have 2 ayes.
Okay, the motion on the amendment failed. We're back to the main motion, Bill 325. Any further discussion on this here? Go ahead, Ms. Smart.
Please support this. Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Ford?
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman?
Right.
Mr. Ikeda?
No.
Mr. Hilago?
Aye.
Ms. Smart?
Aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto?
Aye.
Chair Yagong?
Aye.
Chair Yagong, you have 6 ayes.
Okay, motion passes. Let's go to Bill 327 on page 8, please.
Bill 327 amends ordinance number 1287 as amended relating to public improvements and financing thereof for fiscal year July 1, 2012 to June 30, 2013 as public works. Hokulia Bypass Road Private, $12,500,000. Funds shall be provided from private contributions, $12,500,000. Funds will be used for the completion of the Hokulia Mamalahoa Highway Bypass Road from Kaleo Papa Street to and including the Naupo'opo'o Road Mamalahoa Highway intersection, and will also include improvements on Haleki'i Street from the intersection of Haleki'i Street and Mamalahoa Highway Bypass Road to Kona Scenic Park. This bill is introduced by Ms. Ford by request and waiver of the Finance Committee.
Ms. Ford?
Move to approve approve Bill 327.
Second.
Second by Ms. Smart. Discussion. Go ahead, Ms. Smart.
Real quickly, this 12.5 million was part of the settlement that was ordered, and this money is already sitting in our bank account. This is not like we're having to go out and do anything. The intersection of the Mamalahoa bypass, which I do hope will get another name, but anyway, the bypass at Hawaikiki Street is actually being fixed as we, not tonight, but as we speak. There's, the guardrails are already in, some repaving has to be done, and a few other things, and that intersection will be finished. The Napapo Junction intersection and the southern portion, the 2/5 of the bypass, which is not yet completed, will take this money plus probably $20 million more, and hopefully it has got the collateral in land to provide that amount of money. According to Mr. Kamelamela, as discussion with me, was it yesterday or the day before? The day before. So I urge you to pass this. The money's already sitting there. We don't have to go looking for it. We can get some of this stuff done.
Okay, so money is there, but we do need 6 votes to pass it because it requires a 2/3 vote by the entire membership. Any further discussion? See none, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Ward.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman.
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda.
Kanalua.
Mr. Pilago.
Aye.
Ms. Smart.
Aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto.
Aye.
Chair Gong.
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda.
Kanalua.
Chair Gong, you have 7 ayes.
Okay, motion passes. Let's go to Bill 330, please.
Bill 330 amends Chapter 24 of the Hawaii County Code 1983, 2005 edition is amended relating to vehicles and traffic. Amends Chapter 24, Article 10, Division 1, Section 24.255, Schedule 3, 25-mile-per-hour limit, Paragraph C, South Hilo, by adding an item and renumbered as required. Waianui Nui Avenue from Waiau Street to its terminus at the southern terminus of Bridge 25-2. The amendment reduces the speed limit in a residential area wherein the road is narrow and winding and there are little or no shoulders on either side of the road. This bill is introduced by Mr. Ikeda, waived by the PWPRC committee.
Mr. Ikeda.
Move to approve Bill 330.
Okay, second. Second by Mr. Pilago. Discussion?
Yes, I'd like
Go
to
ahead.
amend it with the contents of communication 893.1.
Okay, need a second? Second. Second by Mr. Pilago.
Let me explain the communication. What happened is they had the wrong street down. It's from Waianui Avenue from Apolia Road to the terminus at the southern terminus to Bridge 25-2. Originally they had Waiau Street, which is all the way down by the hospital, so it was a wrong road that they had on.
Okay, very good. Any discussion on the amendment by Mr. Ikeda? Ms. Ford?
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, one second. Ms. Ford, you first.
I have a question for Mr. Ikeda. This is a shorter distance then?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I yield.
Mr. Hoffman?
Just, I have no problem with the amendment, but the agenda says Waiau Street too. Are we safe in proceeding under these circumstances if the agenda is misstated?
I believe this is first reading. Am I?
This is first reading.
Yes, so we still have another reading, Mr. Hoffman.
Yeah, I don't have a problem, as I say. I'm just sort of asking either the chair or the clerk because it's the agenda that was not correct. Whether it's first reading, second reading, or otherwise, I don't know that that applies. I don't want this to run afoul of anything that we have. I agree with what you're doing. It's just that I'm worried about the way that it was presented. That's
Okay,
all.
let's check with the clerk. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
No, my understanding is the introduction of the word Waiau was per the way the item was submitted, therefore the agenda is correct. Adding an amendment at this point, not going to affect sunshine law. You can go ahead and proceed because you got another reading.
And it'll be corrected at the next, on the next agenda.
Sure.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you. And I agree with that, Madam Clerk. I agree with that call. Okay, any further discussion on, wait a minute, we did pass the, we're on the amendment, right?
Yes.
Okay, any further discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Ford.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman.
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda.
Aye.
Mr. Pilago.
Aye.
Ms. Smart.
Aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto.
Aye.
Chair Gong.
Aye.
Chair Gong, you have 7 ayes.
Thank you, motion passes. So we're at Bill 330 as amended. Any further discussion on the main motion? Go ahead.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, no, it's your bill. Go ahead, sir.
Go ahead, Mr. Ikeda.
Yeah, what happened is, this is the one that the community is coming and asking for support, so, what happened is is, we have a lot of traffic problems in the small community, very narrow roads and so forth, so the community, before I got out, they want me to change a lot of the roads and the side, they want to slow down traffic. And like I said, there's another one also that you saw that Mr. Tulang and some of the other members came around, so we were told by Public Works this is the way to do it instead of taking one big chunk. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Ford.
Thank you. My concern is not about this bill per se. I understand Mr. Cade is asking for a 25-mile-per-hour speed limit, and I believe the speed limit there is 45 or 35?
I believe it's 35.
35. I would like to hear from the traffic division on their perspective on this 25-mile-per-hour speed limit, and obviously they're not here. Now, I know this is going to be, with the amendment, it could be held over for another first reading, and we could get Public Works in here to talk about this. I'm a little bit reluctant to vote yes on this at this moment in time, and I would suggest that we postpone it, but I'm going to wait to hear from other people.
Yeah. One second, Mr. Kira. You know, we do have another reading on this here,
Yeah.
and I think we can bring them forward if that's necessary for you, Ms. Ford. I would suggest we do pass this tonight.
Okay.
Mr. Kira, do you want
Well, that was the exact same thing I was going to say, because we can always bring them in. Mr. Teal was here earlier, but he left.
Okay.
I was going.
Okay, very good. Any further discussion on the main motion as amended? One thing though, I heard the young lady that spoke, she was under the impression, I think, that it was going to go to 15 miles an hour.
No. Above that, there's a section that goes from 35 to 50. There's a section that goes from 35 to 15 because the road becomes very narrow, like a one-lane road.
So there is a place where it goes.
It's already 15.
Okay, very good. Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Mark.
Mr. Keda, this 25-mile-an-hour section, is it immediately adjacent to that 15-mile-an-hour section,
No.
or someplace else on the road?
No, it's, see, Akulia Road to the first bridge is where the main section of the town, Kionoa community, where most of the people live. This is where they have the, I think they have some kind of Head Start school and
Yes.
all of those things there. And so what happened is, it's funny, people just speed there. They won't abide by the ruling. And like I said, this is a narrow 2-lane road, and they just want to slow down the traffic.
Okay.
And then, actually, it was Public Works idea where we have the other one later on. The other lane was little, the road is little wider, the 2-lane, but then it goes from 35 to 15, and it comes out from 15, 35, and then we want to bring it back down to all 25, so it's consistent. Actually, the goal eventually is to bring everything up, to put in a speed hump. And this is the way they test it. They lower the speed limit, and if they can't get the people to slow down, then they'll put in a speed hump.
I think I still have the floor.
Yes, you
I
do.
believe the Head Start school is on the next one, P.E. Honua Street. I could be wrong, it's your district, but I think the school is someplace else. Anyway, Mr. Yagong is correct. We've got another reading on this, so I'm willing to wait and let this one go.
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Ford.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman.
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda.
Aye.
Mr. Pilago.
Aye.
Ms. Smart.
Aye.
Ms. Yoshimoto.
Aye.
Chair Gong.
Aye.
Chair Gong, you have 7 ayes.
Thank you. Bill 330 passes first reading. Let's go to Bill 331, please.
Bill 331 amends Chapter 24 of the Hawaii County Code 1983, 2005 edition is amended relating to vehicles and traffic, amends Chapter 24, Article 10, Division 1, Section 24255, Schedule 3, 25-mile-per-hour limit, paragraph C, South below, adding a new item renumbered as required. P.E. Honua Road beginning from the start of the southern terminus of Bridge 25-2, extending to a point approximately 0.7 mile in the northerly direction. The amendment reduces the speed limit in a residential area wherein the road is a narrow, winding, dead-end roadway with little or no shoulders on either side of the road. This bill is introduced by Mr. Ikeda, waived by the PWPRC Committee.
Mr. Ikeda?
Move to approve Bill 331.
Second.
Second by Ms. Ford. Any discussion?
What's that?
Seeing none. Mr. Gibb, you want to speak to it?
Yes, what happened is, I had a communication, and it's really support from Mr. Tulang and Mrs. Tulang. They wrote a letter asking for support. Mr. Tulang was here earlier, and so was the young lady and her mother. Like I said, a lot of speeding in that area, and so like I said, a lot of these things are last minute because I'm getting out, so they want to have it passed before I get out, and so this is the reason all these last minute things coming up, and I do ask for your support. Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Ford.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman.
Ms. Hoffman.
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda.
Aye.
Mr. Pilago.
Aye.
Ms. Smart.
Aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto.
Aye.
Chair Yagong.
Aye.
Chair Yagong, 7 ayes.
Thank you, motion passes. Let's go to page 10, Bill 294, Draft 2.
Bill 294, Draft 2 amends ordinance number 1287 as amended relating to public improvements and financing thereof for the fiscal year July 1, 2012 to June 30, 2013. Adds Department of Public Works, Ocean View Business District Water Infrastructure Improvements, $5,760,000. Funds shall be provided from general obligation bonds, capital projects fund, fund balance, and or other sources grants, $5,760,000. Funds will be used for the Ocean View Business District Water Infrastructure Improvements, which will bring a buried 12-inch ductile pipe water line to the business district located along Highway 11. This bill was introduced by Ms. Smart.
Okay, there's a pending motion by Mr. Pilago and seconded by Ms. Ford to approve Bill 294. So it's live on the floor. Discussion. Go ahead, Ms. Smart.
Thank you. This is another Air National Guard thing we're adding on to the CIP. Unlikely to happen unless the Air National Guard program goes through. I'm a little surprised to see this still on the agenda. I know I missed last meeting, so I'm not sure if there were questions people had or if it was just because I was gone that it was postponed. But I'm available for questions. Otherwise, please continue your support of this bill. Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? So this is the second and final reading. We do need a 2/3 vote on this. Ms. Ford, is you line up for discussion?
I'm sorry, no, I'm ready
Okay.
to vote.
Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Ford.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman.
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda.
Aye.
Mr. Pilago.
Aye.
Ms. Smart.
Aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto.
Aye.
Chair Yagong.
Aye.
Chair Yagong, 7 ayes.
Thank you. Bill 294 Draft 2 passes second and final reading. Let's go to page 11, please. Bill 296 Draft 2.
Bill 296, Draft 2 amends ordinance number 1287 as amended relating to public improvements and financing thereof for the fiscal year July 1, 2012 to June 30, 2013. Adds Department of Public Works, Green Sand Subdivision Water Infrastructure Improvements, $1,545,000. Funds shall be provided from general obligation bonds, capital projects fund, fund balance, and our other sources grants, $1,545,000. Funds will be used for the Green Sand Subdivision Water Infrastructure Improvements, which will bring a buried 6-inch ductile pipe water line to the subdivision boundary and relocate the water meters close to the residential properties located along Ka'alu Road from Highway 11. This bill is introduced by Ms. Smart.
Thank you. There is a pending motion by Mr. Pilago and seconded by Ms. Ford to approve Bill 296. It's live on the floor. Discussion, Ms. Smart.
Thank you. Another Air National Guard project. This one is to actually put the pipe going down to the Green Sand subdivision. Right now, each individual landowner is having to run over 2 miles of spaghetti lines. We're hoping to fix that so a lot of the illegal tapping of the lines and leaking and whatnot doesn't happen. But I just lost a person.
Can we take a recess?
Yeah, because it does need a 2/3.
We need 6 people.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I don't know that we'll get 6 votes though.
I guess you never know that. Anyway, just another Air National Guard project. Please support it. It's just adding it onto the project list. And thanks, huge thanks to the Department of Water Supply for all the work they've done in helping us develop the projects and the numbers and the realistic plans on the ground. So I really appreciate the work they have done with my office to get these on the agenda here. Thank you.
Thank you. And we do require 2/3 votes. We need 6 positive votes on this. Any further discussion? See. Let's take a minute recess. We're not in recess.
Sorry.
Now we're missing Brittany and the Onishi and Ikeda.
Give me some microphone.
Here's Brittany. Well, we're missing Glennis too. Donald and
Donald's
Onishi.
coming in right now. Dennis is done for the evening.
Oh, he is?
Oh.
Oh, I guess I should. I like that. He dumps amendments on me and then he goes home.
I was gonna ask him who's doing
Jeff, we
the
good?
amendments.
Dennis, you okay?
There's amendments.
Clerk, you okay? Thank you very much. We are now reconvened. Just for the record, it's exactly 8 p.m. In the evening. Thank you everybody for your hard work and indulgence today. Right now we're on the Bill 296 Draft 2 to approve. Any further discussion on Bill 296 Draft 2? Oh, I'm sorry. That is correct, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Ford.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman.
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda.
Aye.
Mr. Palago.
Aye.
Ms. Smart.
Aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto.
Aye.
Chair Yagong.
Aye.
Chair Yagong, you have 7 ayes.
Thank you. Bill 296 Draft 2 passes second and final reading. Let's go to Bill 308, please.
Bill 308 amends ordinance number 1287 as amended relating to public improvements and financing thereof for fiscal year July 1, 2012 to June 30, 2013. As Department of Public Works, Waianui Avenue pedestrian walkway, sidewalk, and drainage, $600,000. Funds shall be provided from general obligation bonds, capital projects fund, fund balance, and or other sources. $600,000. Currently, there are no sidewalks on this street. Construction of a walkway sidewalk will provide improved road conditions, alleviate drainage overflow, and provide safe pedestrian access and possible bicycle travels. This bill was introduced by Mr. Ikeda.
Mr. Ikeda.
Move to approve Bill 308.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pilago. Discussion? Mr. Ikeda?
Yes. You know, this is the bill where we're going to cover one side of the ditch. There's ditches on both sides. Very dangerous road. Community been after me for 8 years, and actually we had some problem with the Department of Water Supply. They built what do you call it? No, not well. We're going to cover the culvert. The reason we couldn't proceed with the project was they were building the reservoir. And we had to wait until the reservoir got finished, and they just got completed. And so now we can proceed, but we waited 8 years for this project.
Thank you.
Thanks for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Ford.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman.
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda.
Aye.
Mr. Pilago.
Aye.
Ms. Smart.
Aye.
Ms. Yoshimoto.
Aye.
Chair Yagong.
Aye.
Chair Yagong, you have 7 ayes.
Thank you. Bill 308 passes second and final reading. Let's go to reports, Madam Chair. FC 267.
FC 267, Communication 865, donated by Mr. Michael Chang. Hilo Fire Extinguisher recommends acceptance of supplies for use by the Hawaii Fire Department during Fire Prevention Week, valid at $642.15. The supplies include fire prevention giveaway items such as hats, stickers, magnets, and pencils.
Motion to receive donations and to close file on Communication 865.
Second.
Second by Ms. Smart. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Ford.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman.
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda.
Aye.
Mr. Pilago.
Aye.
Ms. Smart.
Aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto.
Aye.
Chair Yagong.
Aye.
Chair Yagong, you have 7 ayes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Madam Clerk, did we cover everything on the regular agenda? I know we have to go into executive session, but I want to make sure we cover everything. Okay. Madam Clerk, why don't you read referrals for executive session, read all 3 items, and we'll have Mr. Pilago take us into executive session.
Communication 864, Patricia Nakamoto versus Janae Kawauchi et al., civil number 12-10466, Shyla M. Ayal versus Janae Kawauchi et al., civil number 12-10467. Deputy Corporation Counsel Lorraine L. Martin dated September 26, 2012, requesting an attorney-client confidential discussion to consult with the County Council on questions and issues pertaining to its powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and liabilities regarding the above. Communication 885, claim against the County of Hawaii, Erhard Altrata from Deputy Corporation Counsel Kimberly K. Ange, dated October 15, 2012, requesting an attorney-client confidential discussion to consult with the County Council on a claim submitted by Erhard Altrata. Communication 886, claim against the County of Hawaii, AFNI Insurance regarding Fireman's Fund Injury Hire. Deputy Corporation Counsel Kimberly Ange, dated October 16, 2012, requesting an attorney-client confidential discussion to consult with the County Council on a claim submitted by AFNI Insurance regarding Fireman's Fund Injury Hire.
Motion for this council to enter executive session regarding communications 864, 885, 886, pursuant to section 92-5, subsection A, subsection 4, for the purpose of consulting with council's attorney on questions and issues pertaining to council's powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and liabilities.
Need a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion to move into executive session? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Ms. Ford?
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman?
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda?
Aye.
Mr. Pilago?
Aye.
Ms. Smart?
Aye.
Ms. Yoshimoto?
Aye.
Chair Gon?
Aye.
Chair for 7 ayes.
Thank you very much. We are now in executive session.